So I'm talking to Dr. Vernita, the brilliant solutionist, and I'm going to ask a question about faith-based people, because I know you work with a lot of those, and it's something that both you and I have had conversations about as well. Why do you think so many faith-based high achievers kind of struggle to get to that next level? Like they put a cap on what a high achievement looks like, and they don't allow themselves to fully follow through. Or why do they feel stuck after years of being quote unquote successful?
I think that's the gift and the curse of, well, since we're talking at the doctorate level, having the
Hmm.
doctorate degree is because you go through all of this imagination, and you're like, okay, I'm learning, I'm striving, I'm getting results. And then there's a shift, there's an awakening
Hmm.
that happens at the doctoral process. And instead of us, and I'll say us collectively,
Hmm.
turning to God and say, okay, it's one of those like, and God is not saying this, but this is how I have it in my mind. He's like, oh, now you want my help because you thought it was you this whole
That did all
time
that. Yeah.
that did all of that. And it's
Yeah.
like, now that they've stripped you from some things, now you want my help. And it's in a way of, then the other side to that is trusting God that we are worthy of more, especially coming on the
Mm.
other side of that process. There's a lot of healing and trauma that has to take place, I believe, after experience like that. But then to acknowledge God and come back to Him and say, you were never any of those. Those are not your identity. Your
Mhm. Mhm.
identity is in me. And I think it's an identity crisis
Mm.
to,
It is.
I know for me personally, it has
Mhm.
been a major identity crisis.
Mhm.
And it was like, first of all, you had to get used to not talking about any of your professional accomplishments or anything that you did once you entered to the program.
Mhm.
Then it's like, now you're a student, now you're a doctoral candidate. Those are two different things. So you're grappling
Two
with
different
that,
identities. Yeah.
two
Mhm.
different identities. And
Mhm.
now you're finished. And then you're like, wait, can I call myself doctor? So now you're struggling. Like, now you can call yourself doctor. So
Right.
you got to work to.
Right. Now you can. Yeah, I remember that, like feeling like it didn't take me a long time to do, but feeling into the title, right? Because the
Mhm.
title becomes like, wait, like that doesn't even feel like me. I feel like So what I did is I just like the title sort of became a nickname. So now when people just call me like Dr. TT or whatever, it's now a nickname. It doesn't even feel like a title anymore. It's just kind of
Right.
like a nickname.
That's
Yeah.
how I kind of, that's a good way to put it. That's how
Hmm.
I feel mine, because going back to the, if it's an expectation, it's like, am I supposed to know I know the cure to cancer now because I have
Because I
doctor.
have a
Are you gonna
doctorate,
expect me
right?
to do that? So
I'm on an
then,
airplane. Who's gonna right? Like
right,
right.
it's like, oh, I'm not that kind of doctor. Hold on.
Yeah. And how many times do you have to explain that? Because I know when I go
I
into like
do.
the airplane, like on my cards, it'll say Dr. Tracy Timberlake, like on my like American Express. And so when I swipe it at like the Delta Lounge, like, oh, what kind of doctor? And I'm like, not that kind, just
Yeah,
not that
don't
kind.
don't
Like,
don't page me, please don't. I had
right.
to do that when I
I
was
mean, I can
traveling.
Google.
Right,
I can
but I
Google.
am not going to perform.
Yeah.
So then it was like the identity of really understanding, it's because at that point, especially going from in entrepreneurship land, I'm
Hmm.
learning, you have to have this bigger imagination that's beyond
Hmm.
your career. For me, I told you, US Secretary of Education or then university president. It was going to
Yeah.
be something big regardless,
Mm.
but those were still finite. With
Mm. Sure.
entrepreneurship, it's really there's no end. You can do whatever, it's infinite. So
Right.
to wrap your mind around, like, God, you can help me with that. Like, you see me beyond that. Like, so
Mm.
all of that is, for me, I think is an identity thing. And that's why a lot of high level achievers who are moving into the space of entrepreneurship struggle, because we haven't recognized
Yeah.
who we are in Christ beyond a position, title, or degree. And I know that because I talk to some of them now, and I could see it. I was like, I know where you are, but I was
Mm.
asking to let them. I was like, you can dream a little bigger than that, right?
Right.
Just a little
The
bit.
world, right? But if they don't know, they don't know until they do, and then it's like, wow, wow.